Oh, I'm Bret. And if she sees you and don't speak, that means she don't fuck with you. She's a boss. You're a worker, bitch. She ain't got to dance. She makes money moves. It's Gracie, and this is After Darkrai, a no holds barred, no nothing podcast where we talk about Pokemons and hurt the ones we love. Did I say Pokemons just now? Boy,
Maybe.
I am getting old. It's just like every day is at least a year. Um,
You're
Also,
one
I'm
step
gonna need
closer to
you.
the Pokemon.
yeah, the
Oh, the
The
Pokemons.
when I add
Pokemon, the
the to the front of
Facebook,
it, it's
the
over.
YouTubes.
Yeah. You were saying,
Also,
Grace?
I'm gonna need you to come into every single room that I go into and announce me that way every time.
Ooh, that that'd be fantastic. Look, she ain't got to dance. If she see you in the street and don't speak, that means she don't fuck with you.
It's true.
Uh,
Every
get
day.
yeah, every day. She is our queen and savior, Gracie Z Rain. Gracie, welcome back to another show.
Hey,
How
girl,
you?
hey.
Hey, girl. Hey. Uh, hey, girl. Hey. We both got our nails did, looking fly as hell.
Mhm.
And joining us today, you heard his voice just a moment ago. We just now took the black bag off of his head after we, ushered him from the van into the recording studio. Very professional recording studio, I might add,
Mhm.
filled with rainbows and wood paneling. It's
Yep.
Chris Logan. Chris Logan from Best of the Rest. Chris, say hi.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I've been a guest on a Breaker podcast before. I know the routine. Put the bag on my head. I just chill. I'm ready to go whenever you say it's recording time and talk before I get announced. I'm good.
Yeah.
Someone will pat your head and tell you sweet things. That'll be fine.
Look, we have a very serious this is a very serious Pokemon show. Thank you very much. We only talk about 100% serious news and strategies and deep dives into the deep I'm going to say deep one more time, deep lore of the Pokemon universe. There is no fun to be had here. This is strictly informative. This is practically a documentary.
I wouldn't have it any other
Practically a
way.
documentary.
And
Isn't
and
everything a documentary?
Isn't everything? No, everything's not a documentary. I don't think so at all. Is
Yeah,
like Predator a documentary?
it could be if
But
if if it's documenting the movie making of Predator.
Oh, what's that? You Gracie, I love you. You're so damn smart.
What?
Well, I'm just thinking like you're a fucking genius. Every movie is a documentary about itself.
Yeah.
There was what was that movie called? It was like a comedy, like with all-star cast in it. It had Karen Gillan was like the
I
I
feel
should
like
have said her
Christian
name wrong.
now.
Uh,
Don't you watch movies?
what?
oh, a comedy with an all-star cast. You've really narrowed it down for me.
Karen
Yeah.
Let
Gillan.
me.
I said Karen Gillan was like one of the
Okay.
stars. They're like filming a movie during quarantine in 2020. David Duchovny's in it.
This is not something I have seen. I'm sorry. Sorry to let you
Really? All
down.
right, hang on. Gracie, will you do something while I look up this fucking movie that's totally integral to the podcast? This is what we do, by the way, Chris.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
not
I don't know.
professional like some other shows.
I don't know.
Gracie was dancing for all the audio
Yeah,
listeners.
I was.
Gracie, you do stuff, and I'll describe what you're doing,
Okay,
and
okay.
that's how we'll fill the time.
Oh my god.
Okay, she's looking around, taking a sip of her beverage. It looks to be a can, but it's like in. Oh no, it's like a tumbler. It's like a wine glass tumbler. I don't know the contents of this. I can't see, but it could be soda, could be juice, could be wine, could be mead. Who knows? The
Y'all
mystery is
y'all
part of the
are
fun.
y'all are killing me today.
But really, did you find it?
No.
That's
No.
all the time that I can buy you. I can. I don't know what else to tell you.
From like a
Karen
month ago.
Gillan comedy.
Oh,
The
we have a
Bubble.
birthday girl headband. Now is it your birthday? Why is that so? Why is that within arm's reach?
It was like a month ago.
Oh, okay. Well, happy late birthday.
The
Right.
Bubble.
The
It's a
bubble.
movie called The Bubble. Check
The
it out.
Bubble.
It's literally a movie about a bunch of actors. Think Tropic Thunder minus the action, right? And they're all like dealing with quarantine together in a nightmare production on a shitty movie that is on its like 10th installment that everyone's just kind of over and they're just cashing in basically for the paycheck.
And you've seen this. It's good. It's funny.
It
You recommend it?
I greatly enjoy it. I do not think the reception was high at all, but
I
I'll
was like,
say
I've never
like,
even heard of it, so
well, at the end of it, like basically the whole production is ruined. The movie's basically useless. However, throughout the whole movie, there's always the behind the scenes guy filming, and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here! Get out of my face!" And then at the end, the hit movie is the documentary that guy made about the failure that is that movie that they made in quarantine. It's like meta shit. Anyway, I don't know why this is important. Check out The Bubble on Netflix.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll get that.
Karen
Because
Gillan,
I don't
She's
watch any movies ever.
a national treasure.
She is. That's true.
Yeah, she's on my list. Gracie, is she
Oh,
on your?
hi.
Who's on
High
your?
on
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Top 10?
I'd
say top 5.
Right.
Top 5.
I just
Maybe-
throw it on there.
Well, it's not. You're right. It's not a competition. It's just like a grab bag, really. There's
Yes,
like
really.
we know how many's in the bag, but we don't pick one over the other.
Correct.
Chris, do you have any idea what the fuck is happening right now?
No, not really, but I'm enjoying the ride. That's kind of
That's
important.
Well, I mean, you're the host of a show called Best of the Rest, which originally when it started was a show about comic book movies that weren't quite well received, and you would watch those, and instead of be like any other movie podcast, because let's be honest, there's a lot of movie podcasts on the interweb.
There's a lot of bad movie podcasts specifically.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I don't know anything about those. Breakers. You guys decided to put that on its head and be like, we're only going to talk about the things we like, the things we think that work, and the things that we think deserve to be recognized. And I found that to be such an influence on the way I approach my bad movie podcast. I don't want to be why shit on this thing that somebody worked hard on, even though it's not good.
There's enough assholes on the internet putting negativity out there, right? They don't need help. You don't need to join in on that. So if you have an opportunity to throw some positivity out there, and that's not to say that kind of sounds like I'm judging everybody that rips on bad movies. I'm not, because they can be very fun as long as you're not getting real personal with your insults or whatever. Yeah. Everyone watches The Room and laughs at how bad it is, and that's totally okay.
Mystery Science Theater is the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, exactly. But that road's been done, so we want to try something different. So the challenge is actually having positive things to say about some of these movies, and still being, we want to be entertaining and humorous and funny, but without relying on being assholes. And it is truly a challenge, but hopefully
the opposite of After Darkrai.
I kind of love all of this though.
Yeah, it's a hashtag positivity podcast, as we say.
Oh, I thought you meant us, Gracie.
What's the last movie then?
Jurassic World Dominion, as of this recording.
We just went through all the Jurassic Park sequels. Yeah, so Jurassic Park 2 through Dominion all got their own episode.
I have not listened to Dominion yet because I have not seen the movie.
Do you talk about how it relates to Michael Crichton's writing?
Early on, because Michael Crichton was still involved with part 2. He helped legitimately write part 1.
Didn't he die before 3? He might not have.
I don't think he's dead, is he?
Yeah, I don't think he's dead.
Michael Crichton's been dead a long time.
Really?
Yeah, y'all.
Google this right now.
All right, y'all vamp, and I'll Michael Crichton died November 4th, 2008.
Oh,
what? News to me.
When did
that never came up in my extensive research on Jurassic Park. But
the reason why Jurassic Park was in 2001, so no, he was alive when Jurassic Park 3 came out. The reason why I know that is because he had an unfinished book that he wrote that came out I think 2 or 3 years ago that I listened to on Audible. The name of which I forget, but I can't remember if a family member or someone just from his estate just got it, edited it, and finished it for him. But it's dinosaur adjacent. It's like the Wild Wild West during the Cope and what's that other jackass's name? Cope and something.
Dragon
Wars.
King?
No, hang
That's
on.
2017.
You two pretend to be smart.
Well, I was thinking, I just looked it up and it was in 2017. If he died before then that would be the latest one.
Oh, what was it called?
Dragon Teeth.
Yeah, that is it, I think.
Oh my God, you're like, no.
No. I was trying to remember. I was trying to think of the what the book was about.
I don't know, had a picture of a dinosaur on it.
I don't know if anybody finds anything that we're saying right now interesting. Pokemon. Hey, actually,
you just got them all back. Every listener was tuning out. And
They're
then
like,
they heard you saying Pokemon. Look, this is what I tuned in for.
Yeah. Chris, where I was going to go, like I mentioned, it was strictly comic book movies for a while there. What made you guys decide, like, all right, let's rip the Band-Aid off this thing. Let's bust open the dam and just open it up to virtually any movie of pop culture significance that was poorly received.
Well, basically, there's only so many bad comic book movies that you can do. And the challenge is covering movies that people are actually aware of or have seen. So, like, we did the Fantastic Fours, we did Daredevil, we did a lot of X-Men movies. But is anybody really going to tune in to, like, the unreleased Fantastic Four movie episode? Or like Barbarella and some really weird stuff. So rather than like going to the bottom of the barrel, we just wanted to broaden our horizons a little bit. So we actually changed the topic every single month. So as I said, we just did Jurassic Park sequel month. We're about to be going into movies based on TV shows. So you just mentioned the phrase Wild Wild West. It's actually the next episode being released for our TV month.
I did not know that.
Yeah, a little synchronicity there.
Ambush journalism. I got you.
I
got a mole inside of your organization, Chris, and she digs up information for me and sends it to me in advance. And her name does not rhyme with Lily.
Oh my god!
I knew y'all were up to something after she was a guest on this podcast, and she
was on the only one of the two only family friendly episodes of this show.
But not this episode.
No, not this episode. Sorry, Lily. Turn it off right now. I know you're listening.
Fuck.
Turn it all off.
But
true story. This just happened yesterday. Lily said, the listeners know Lily. She was on an episode. She stubbed her toe yesterday, like really bad. You can see it in her face.
Oh, just in case you're a new listener, Lily is
my daughter.
Yeah, there you
and
I wanted you to say that. I didn't want to dox you.
So she stubs her toe, and her mom says you can say one curse word, and immediately she goes, fuck, and we're like, wow, you just went for it. I can't get mad. We gave her permission, but we were expecting like, damn shit, maybe.
How old is she?
But she is 12.
How adorable.
I mean, we know she says the words, but we were allowing her to say it like at home.
She's definitely at that age where they start saying that stuff at school, and she's going to start hearing it more.
I was thinking my son's age, and I was like, the bold word for a 4-year-old. Like, dang. No, 12. Okay, that makes more sense.
We have a 12, and then we have a 2-year-old who talks a lot, but has not said their first curse word that I know of yet. So it'll be fun to.
I don't think my son has ever said anything knowing he said it. He said something was screwed up yesterday, and I was like, where did you hear that phrase? And I talked to his dad. His dad was like, I may or may not have used that. And I was like, okay, so at least he isn't like hearing it at school or something. I don't know.
Right.
And like it's like one of those weird like transitional like words. Like it's not really that bad, but maybe not to say it like during preschool.
Yeah, it's a gateway word that leads to curse words.
I distinctly remember in kindergarten calling someone a slut, and then when being asked where I heard it, like I heard one of my parents say it in the car to like someone they were road raging at. They called someone a slut. And
what a weird road.
And I got sad. No, it was like, I don't remember what they wrote that on the, they were driving and they were just like, you slut or something.
What a weird insult.
Well, and then they called my parents, and my parents came, and I got sat down, and they're like, we don't know where he heard that from. It totally threw me under the fucking bus.
That's funny.
Did not take responsibility at all.
I remember
for me it was
trouble. Go ahead.
Well, my word from elementary school that I used and didn't really know what it meant was bastard. And I just was playing with friends, and I used the word, and they told on me, and they were like, "That's a bad word." I'm like, "It is." Like they say it in a TV show.
Did you watch South Park a lot? Because
honestly, I remember the show I heard it in. It was Sliders, the Jerry O'Connell sci-fi show.
I remember that show. That was a great show.
Yeah, they used the word bastard, and I added it to my vernacular, and it turned out to be a bad word. And no one could tell me what it meant. Like, why is it bad? Like, it just is. And like, you look up like the actual definition, and I was like, well, nothing about this seems bad. And it's just kind of a context thing that you don't really understand as a kid.
Yeah.
I think the time I ever got in trouble was, It was a weird thing. I was like 8th grade, and I said someone was pissed off. And like I said it in front of the class, like I was like giving a presentation, like, oh yeah, they're really pissed off, and they're just like clutching their pearls, and I was like, what? Like I legitimately didn't understand. And I guess I mean it's like a rural school, so maybe they're just like pissed. Like, why would you say that in front of people in a
Oh
doesn't
my
seem so bad.
goodness.
I know, that's what I thought. I'm like, I say it all the time. Like,
I don't remember what we were doing, but I probably just for fun smart mouth my girlfriend, and her son was on his Switch, and he just said, she's gonna kick your ass. And we both slowly turned our heads towards him, and he slowly looked up from the Switch and went, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was like, oh, you're gonna get your ass kicked for cussing. We all had a good laugh at that. He didn't even realize he said it.
That's really funny. I don't we didn't like have a huge deal about cussing in our house. It was more like you never say these words when you leave the house.
When we got up to like high school age, like my parents didn't generally care as long as you're not like cursing somebody
Cussing
out.
them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point, you realize like cuss words, they don't mean anything. There's nothing bad about them. Like the only reason you don't want kids to use them is because they don't understand them yet, and so they'll misuse them. But as long as stub your toe and say about it, like it's not hurting anybody.
No,
but it's
it's
just you can't always trust kids to know the context. So that's
Correct.
kind of something that comes later in life. But
But
yeah,
if you
nothing
listen
wrong
to
with it.
Best of the Rest, you will never stub your toe. You'll never even hear a naughty word. Speaking of
That's true.
Best of the Rest here, you could just an idea to pitch you. Like, I mean, you're trying to reach a lot of ears. There's a lot of bad Pokemon movies that you could look for positive things in. And by that I mean all of them are bad Pokemon movies.
That's not true.
Which one's good, Gracie?
I've seen Detective
OG.
Pikachu. I like it.
Okay, all right. I forgot about Detective Pikachu. Yeah, Detective Pikachu is good.
Pikachu is good.
I like that movie a lot. What, Gracie? What were you thinking?
The original.
Does it hold up though?
I don't care.
Does it hold up though?
That's the one with like the Pikachu death fake out, right? Like it looks like he's died and then he came back. Is that? Is it Ash that almost dies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they like cries and they
There's
like
someone like almost died.
the Pokemon cry and then they bring him back to life.
Yeah, because the tears somehow through the power of love defy gravity and
Yeah,
flow.
right. They do.
Yeah. I mean,
That
why
shit
is
made me
why do
cry
I
when I was
find
a
that
kid.
hard to believe in a world where there's magical monsters that can shoot flamethrowers out of their butts?
Exactly.
In the remake, though, like I don't remember if this was
The
in
remake
the
is
original.
terrible.
The remake, like Pikachu says,
They remake the movie?
Yeah. They made it
yeah,
like different animation.
the animation's great though.
I don't
But like at the end when there's like the dying thing and like Pikachu almost sacrifices himself for Ash, and Ash is like, Pikachu, why would you do this? And then Pikachu says in English, because I love you.
Yikes.
And I fucking lost. I'm losing it.
No, the original made me cry when I was little.
The original
You
has
were
that
little.
badass Mewtwo quote that everybody uses,
Yes.
right?
What was it? I don't
I had to
remember.
Google it real quick. I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Yeah.
I've
That's
never
awesome.
heard
That's
that.
that's like
in
right out of like Ghost in the Shell.
Shakespeare.
That's yeah. Oh yeah, even better.
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Shakespeare equals Ghost in the Shell. Of course, we all know this as
We all
fans
know
of
this.
classic literature.
Ghost in the Shell is good too, though. Ghost in the Shell is Shakespeare.
I mean, what's the difference between the two? Really, they're
Yes,
coming from the same place.
Oh my god, I'm gonna.
Redefining classics.
I might cry.
I'm an English teacher. Shut the fuck up. This is my. I don't know.
So are you like you're an English teacher? You just brought up Shakespeare. You're probably like really like Shakespeare. I have
You might really like
always-
Ghost in the Shell.
I love Ghost in the Shell. I hate Shakespeare. Whenever I think probably most kids think this, or at least maybe I was just dumb, but like you're aware of Shakespeare, you hear Shakespeare, you know these lines and the weird way people talk. And I always assumed, well, that's just how people talked back then. These are just really old plays. And everyone talked with all the extra THs in other words. And then you learn like, oh no, he just made it sound stupid on purpose. Like it's just how he wrote stuff to make it sound poetic, whatever. And you gotta decipher it. And I'm like, I can't I can't do that.
I
It's like
haven't-
whenever
no,
you read The Great Gatsby, and it's like, yeah, you can understand that green means this and the egg represents this. It's like, just tell me what you want to tell me. Don't, what are you doing? Like, why do I have to like understand what a billboard means? Just tell me, just tell me the story.
No, see, this is a huge critique I have actually of Shakespeare is Shakespeare was not meant to be read on paper at all. So, yes, it makes sense. Like his themes and like ideas and all this stuff is awesome, but in order to make it relevant, I always make the kids watch it while we read it. Like I make like we play it out or whatever, but we never do it just like one big swoop. Like we always watch it when we read it. I always make sure I tell them all the dirty jokes and what they mean.
That's
And
fun.
yeah, and then we like hurl Shakespearean insults at each other all the time. It's great. But
That
then,
actually makes sense. Like, because back in the day, you wouldn't like go buy a Shakespeare book. You would go see a Shakespeare.
see
Like
it.
the
Yeah, you
intention
would
is to see it
never
live.
sit there and like read it by your fireplace. Like that's not what it's for.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I
so
see
like
that.
that's like the bigger idea. And like I would 100% like make them watch a adaptation than to sit there and read it. Like that's bullshit. No one's gonna do that.
Yeah.
So like these old AP literature classes that just sit there and read it and then like try to talk about symbolism and shit, that shit's dated and old and should be thrown out. So I don't
I
know.
like that. I like
Yeah.
that. It's like I saw this someone, I don't know, social media or meme somewhere. They were
Right.
like, I was looking for some
Bret
music
died.
like on Spotify. Yeah, he's out. Brett's
He's-
gone. Of like Beethoven or Bach and the classical music, and all I could find was covers. And then I realized those recordings don't exist because they composed
Yeah.
that music before. And it's like, I've never really like sat down and thought about it, but that makes sense. And that's wild to me that we don't have recordings of these compositions. We just have like their, I guess, sheet music that we reinterpret and play again. Like
well, what's
it's
hilarious
crazy.
on top of that is like obviously like Beethoven and Mozart are the ones that compose it and like get all the credit for it, but like it takes a whole symphony to even like compose these things. I'm so sorry, Brett.
I'm just taking a nap over here while the
It's fine.
intellectuals
This is like
fucking.
philosophical. This is like this
Hey,
shit that I like live
For
on.
you three
Anyway.
listeners left, hey, we're gonna get to the Pokemon shit
We
here in
are.
just a minute. I promise.
We are. I promise. Pokemon has some deep shit.
Lily, stop
Oh.
listening. We cuss on here. We told you to turn it off like 10 minutes ago. Leave the 5-star rating and review, and we won't.
But
tell
also,
you.
like I love Pokemon, but also like my kid has been started watching it, like the Indigo League series, whatever. And like I really like, some of the things that they learn like in this show. Like it's kind of fun or whatever. But also then I have to kind of explain like, yeah, we shouldn't fight animals.
You mean in Pokemon?
Like to my child, I had to explain like, yeah, animals should fight each other.
Well, yeah. No, Pokemon, like, if Pokemon were real, it would be nightmarish because it
It'd
would just
be
be
illegal.
animal cruelty just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But in their world, Pokemon want to fight.
You know what? It drives me a little crazy about it is clearly the Pokemon creators never really thought these things through. Like people ask questions like, they're like, do Pokemon exist alongside regular animals in this world? If you throw a Pokeball at a real animal, does it get captured? What happens within the Pokeball? And the creators are always like, I don't know.
It's made up.
Like they don't have an answer for it. They're just like, we just made a fun game. Figure it out.
In the first couple of games there, like the Pokédex alludes to these things. For instance, Pikachu,
the mouse type Pokemon,
electric mouse Pokemon.
Correct.
You have like Pidgey is what, like the tiny bird Pokemon. So
isn't there like a giraffe pig hybrid that is reflected in their name?
Good God, I don't know what you're talking about, but
it's like half zebra, half something. I don't know.
I think it's giraffe rig, but I don't.
There you go. Yeah,
he's half pig.
It's not a fucking pig. Are you high?
Isn't it a giraffe and a pig?
No, it's just a cute little giraffe.
But it's got like a pigtail.
No, it absolutely does not. It has a little like chomper, like Mario chain chomp on its butt.
Okay. You're right.
That's a psychic brain.
Regardless, clearly it's based on at least partly a giraffe, and it's in the name.
Right. What I was getting at though is like there's like other like Pokédex entries where they talk about them eating fish or things of that nature.
Right.
So like as the series went on, like they made a conscious decision to move away from those things entirely. Like it stopped being like, oh, Ekans hunts mice or whatever, and Ekans now hunts, I don't know, the Dedenne.
His name is Snake. It's Snake spelled backwards. Come on.
That was a bad example, but it started to be like, so like Marini now hunts Corsola and eats them instead of like, you know.
So in the lore now, there's no regular animals. All animals are Pokemon.
Correct. Yeah. You don't see any, and of course not in the games. There's no like all animals are Pokemon. There are Pokemon and there are people.
Well, it's also like the idea that like the map refers to like places in the real world, but also not. Like it talks about like being like a South African or South American Pokemon, but like that doesn't exist in Pokemon world.
My favorite is Lieutenant Surge from the original game, alluding to like a war with Pokemon. Like my Pokemon really saved me during the war. Like
what war?
Exactly. Well, in the games, there's a was it X and Y with the giant flower cannon and the man that's 1,000 years old that lived through some ancient war. Like there's some like, oh, and Scarlet and Violet, there was like the evil king or whatever whose kingdom was destroyed by the treasures of ruin. Like there's some violent shit in there. It all happened a long, long time ago, and you don't have to worry about it anymore because people don't fight except for with Pokemon now.
Weird. Pokemon, it's a weird thing.
So you're telling me I could end all wars if I invent Pokemon?
I'm saying that Chris should do on Best of the Rest, Secrets of the Jungle, where the kid learns how to use a Pokemon move and completely shatters all fucking classification of Pokemon and people. That line is just shattered.
Oh, we watched that one too. My kid watched that one too.
That movie. When the kid learned how to use a Pokemon move, I went, that's it. People are Pokemon. It's just,
did he learn it like from a TM, or did he like watch a Pokemon and study it and then recreate the move?
No, through the power of fucking love, because his like Zarude daddy was dying or something. His like tears or some shit. He learned how to do, what was it, Revival of the Jungle or whatever that move was called.
Yeah, he was trying to save somebody.
And he did it. Yay. Someday. Detective Pikachu. This is from an article today from Polygon.com. A representative at Legendary Entertainment has confirmed that Detective Pikachu 2 is still in active development, to the surprise of nobody, says this observer. They could not confirm who is working on it or a timetable for its release, and that's basically the end of the several 8, 9, 10, 12 paragraph article.
I was like, it's maybe in the works. We have no information. Do with that what you will.
They're like, no, it's in active development. We just can't tell you anything about it. Period. Even though it's been, I don't know what at this point, 3 years, 4 years since it came out.
I have no idea. Time is irrelevant.
It's a huge hit. Good movie.
No, I like it. I just have no idea. Time is hard.
If you want to shit on that movie a little bit, we brought this up like last episode or the episode before that, like Mewtwo just suddenly having the power to switch people's like souls and shove them into Pokemon bodies, which overrides the Pokemon's brains.
Correct.
And they can somehow talk. Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the movie. All right, I like my favorite part about it is probably just seeing these realistic depictions of Pokemon. I thought they looked really cool. But didn't realize Jigglypuff had fur, but I don't know what I thought it was. I think I thought it was more like a Kirby balloon texture.
Me too. No, I definitely thought.
Yeah, same.
But
like,
but Ryan Reynolds, I like the guy. All right. It didn't make sense because I realized watching Detective Pikachu that Deadpool is mostly a voice performance because you don't see his face. You just it sounds so like I can't get Deadpool's voice out of my head whenever he's being a sarcastic Pikachu, and I just never really bought into it. It just sounded like Ryan Reynolds talking. It never really sounded like Pikachu. And I know there's the whole twist ending thing where it explains why he sounds like Ryan Reynolds and all, but that was kind of not my favorite part of that movie. But it looked cool visually. It was awesome.
Yeah,
it might be the best video game adaptation.
Whoa! Hold on.
Let me think about it. Like I have a different favorite personally.
Mortal Kombat.
I don't think it's a crazy. The original Mortal Kombat's probably my favorite.
Yeah, I mean it's literally.
I think it holds up. I think it's pretty good.
They go to an island, participate in a tournament. Mortal Kombat.
I did not like the new one, but the '95 original, I'm a big fan.
No, the new one was trash.
I was not a fan.
I hate that movie.
But like, I mean, you know, if someone said Detective Pikachu is just a genuinely better movie than Mortal Kombat, like I wouldn't call him crazy. I don't think it's a crazy take.
I don't know. I would also like to point out Tomb Raider, the latest one with Alicia Vikander.
Yeah,
I really like that movie. It'd be a good one for Best of the Rest too, honestly.
We did the original Angelina Jolie one during our video game month, so maybe we visit that topic again. We could look.
I don't think the newer one was like super. Like I think it made its money back and all that, but I mean, I don't think anybody would call it particularly.
It kind of came and went. Like I know it came out, but I didn't really. It didn't really make a big
How do
splash.
people feel about like the Resident Evil movie?
And the sequel got canned too, so it's just gone. Which Resident Evil movies?
They're so different from the games. Even people that might like them, they're like
their own thing at this point.
Not it really is. Yeah,
they're action movies.
So I just
the first one is the only one that had any like real horror. But go back and look at, was it Resident Evil 3 that had Nemesis in it, and Nemesis just looks like a Muppet. Like it's just very funny to me. I have not seen the remake though, the Raccoon City one.
What about the Sonic movies?
Sonic movie is fantastic. Haven't seen the second one, but the first one, great.
I haven't seen them. I've heard good things. And then you start getting into the thing where like Detective Pikachu is based on a specific game, and then you have stuff like Wreck-It Ralph isn't based on a video game, but it's a video game movie. Does that count? Is it the same category? I don't know.
I don't think Wreck-It Ralph counts because we're basically talking about the best video game movie based on a video game.
I mean, Wreck-It Ralph has licensed characters in the game.
That's true.
But it's not based. But it's not based on like Mario might appear in. Well, he doesn't appear, but Bowser appears in Wreck-It Ralph. We're not saying that Wreck-It Ralph is based off of Mario.
Correct.
Although I think that Mario movie is going to give what we're talking about a run here.
That's true.
For its money.
I mean, it does look pretty good. Is that Tomb Raider movie based on a specific Tomb Raider game, or it just takes a character from the video game and makes a movie out of her?
Oh man, you're gonna make me rack my. You could make an argument that all the Tomb Raider games and movies are basically Laura is on the hunt for some kind of
same theme
artifact that has ancient mystical powers to do something, and then the bad guys are a mercenary organization that want it for themselves. Isn't that every Tomb Raider game and movie?
So it's like the spirit of the games, even if it's not like the plot.
Yeah, I mean, how much do you want me to ruin for you?
I mean, we just talked about how Resident Evil strays so far from the games. But we still call it a video game adaptation.
Is it that much of a stray if, like, you know how her parents are classically just dead?
Right.
What if they weren't? Is that big of a?
It's kind of like almost like Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, they're still dead, but they incorporate their story a lot into it.
Anyway, this show's about Pokemon.
Is it?
Clearly.
Not anymore. This show has become...
We do what we want.
Gracie, last week we failed to sell our show to GoCast.
Look, we've all talked about having kids in our lives. Do you ever have these moments where... Because I think we're all about the same age. We all remember when Pokemon...
Gracie's like 24.
I am not at all. Thank you.
We remember Pokemon as a child. Like I remember Pokemon like becoming a thing. I remember the games coming out, buying the first game. I remember the trading cards being a big deal. And we were in school, and like I remember being in elementary school, and like Pokemon is the new thing. Now I'm like an old man with kids, and Pokemon is still a thing. Like my kids are getting into Pokemon. My daughter has a Pikachu doll. Like that's still a thing. Like I was there when it first started, and it's still a thing. And Pokemon is just it's just here forever now. And it's weird for it to be like to be there at the beginning and to still see kids getting into it and watching the show.
It's become generational. So the kids that grew up liking it are now adults and themselves have kids and are sharing because there's still Pokemon games being made. Get to share that with their kids. I mean, you could say the same thing about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, maybe not G.I. Joe anymore. It's basically dead in the water, but you get my point here. Like,
but there was a while that, like, when I was growing up, like
Disney. Disney's probably a
Yeah.
better example than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like
Well,
Disney,
okay, Disney is pretty broad. I mean, that's
That's
just
true.
like they make
as
a
a
bunch of
business, it
different
is,
IPs.
but as a brand, like it's just now become a generational thing that just gets
See, that's not
passed
quite the
now.
same thing, I think,
No,
because
I
like
disagree.
Ninja Turtles, I agree, but Ninja Turtles, there's a new iteration every few generations. There's a new movie, a new take on the characters, a new series, and that feels a little bit different to me than like Pokemon has been one continuous game series. The anime is like one continuous story that
like
more
all
and more generations are getting into. They're getting into
Not
the
anymore.
same story that we got into as kids.
Not anymore. Ash has been retired, baby. See you
That's
later.
okay. That's
But
They're
is it not?
finally.
Is it not a continuation of the same universe? And in that
It
universe,
is.
he's retired and it moves on. Like it's still the same story.
We don't know, but I like if Ash never appears in another episode as like a cameo, I would be
Very
shocked. I mean, I guarantee
Sure,
you
yeah.
that whoever the new character is going to go on their journey. They're going to get to some Pokemon tournament. They're going to get to the finals. And who do you think's going to be their
show
opponent?
up.
Fucking
Yeah.
Ash. Only
He's
now
gonna
he's
be like
12 instead of 10. And he's got a full beard.
He just talks like an aged smoker all of a sudden.
He's got like his arms around Brock and Misty, like with that big Lebowski belly hanging out. Like, yeah. But yeah, the games, I mean, they do like iterate, like the games are separate from the anime and that they are a different, they bring back pre-existing Pokemon here and there because, you know, there's some games that you just, like, you can't have a game and not have Pikachu in it. Pikachu has to be in it. It's just a requirement. Same thing for Eevee and some other fan favorites. But usually you're looking at, what, 100 new Pokemon each generation?
Yeah.
So my kid, I got him Scarlet for Christmas. So it's been really interesting seeing him play it. Although he's got the advantage that the internet exists, because when we were kids, you couldn't look anything up. He was asking
No,
me,
you
like,
said the playground rumors that were never true.
of course not. And he was like, how do you beat, how do you beat Larry? And I'm like, you just got to go grind, bud. Got to get them levels up. Go grind.
Now he's like, advice to beat Larry, and it just tells you how to do it. Yeah.
Speaking of Scarlet, we absolutely apologize, end quote, for Pokemon performance problems, says Nintendo of Canada manager. This is
Why is
from
Canada Oh wait, that actually checks out.
This is from Nintendo. Like,
They're the one. They're really good at
burn on
apologizing.
Canada. Damn, Gracie. If you're from Canada and you listen to this show, I love you.
This is from someone who used to be yelled at for saying sorry all the time. So
now you just get yelled at for being late or too late or too early to the show.
Oh my god, I was an hour early today.
You're an hour early to the show today.
I can't read time. I can't.
Oh,
episodes are hard. Okay,
There's worse problems.
I could save you the skinny on this, but during a interview with the Nintendo manager of Canada, what an illustrious title that must be.
Yeah, it's strange.
This gentle lady's name is Susan Penfather.
That's great.
Amazing name. I love that. Basically just said what I said. We made a ton of it distilled it down to we made a ton of money. This was a hugely successful year for Nintendo. We apologize for the performance problems in Pokemon Scarlet.
It was kind of trash. I mean, it was a good game, but it was
but also like Canada didn't make it, right? So I'm kind of wondering
why Canada is like putting their.
Someone just interviewed them and they said it. I'm sure they got a strongly worded email from Papa Pokemon saying, "Why'd you even acknowledge that?"
Yeah,
because they do not like to talk at all about anything.
It's true.
I'm really hoping though that like since a higher up apologizes like that, then they're like, okay, maybe this is serious enough that we should issue a patch for this game.
I have you on record saying like it'll be out for a couple weeks and they'll get a patch and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I still think there's a patch coming.
Where's that patch?
I still think it's coming, but like let's be real, Nintendo doesn't exactly do internet services particularly well in comparison with people like Xbox or PlayStation.
I mean, it's been a long running complaint about Game Freak and the Pokemon games that they sell bonkers no matter what. So they don't really have to innovate that much. They don't have to make the most polished games. You're gonna fucking buy it, but you want to, like that.
This is the first open world one, so like you can imagine Skyrim levels of jank because that's kind of what it is.
They've been creeping their way towards it though with the wild areas and stuff. And even though I don't follow the games as closely as you guys. Like I'm aware of them enough to know that this has been like in the works and they've been iterating their way towards it. So
There
Yeah,
are plenty of other like gaming system and engines that have a much smaller budget that have done much better work.
I don't know off the top of my head. I was thinking of just like another
Not
hugely
Bethesda.
mega popular video game franchise that went open world, Zelda, and that game's not like a glitchy trash fire.
Yeah.
well, it also took like 10 years to make. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit. It took a long time to make it, whereas Pokemon, they want to get the new one out like every other year or
Yeah.
whatever. So
I still think the patch is coming. As of this recording, when you guys are, if you guys are listening to this the week this comes out, there's a Nintendo Direct this week. So expecting some Scarlet and Violet news. I don't know if it's going to be DLC or just, I don't know. Hopefully, I mean, I would love DLC, but I would also like don't want DLC if that means that there's not going to be a performance patch or some
Right.
quality of life improvements. Like the box, just loading Pokemon in your box, like scrolling through your box is such a so annoying. Like it's such a small thing, like first world problem. Be like, oh, it takes my Pokemon 2 seconds to load in. Like it's just, just
quality of life.
Some quality of life improvements and some performance improvements, specifically the frame rate. That frame rate is, Chris. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's.
I've seen a lot of videos and stuff. It's pretty rough.
It's pretty rough, but I still love the game.
Switch.
I stand by it.
Well,
I still
again,
it's
yeah,
a good
like
game.
it's Switch. No one expects like Xbox, whatever number we're on now, like 4K.
Xbox doesn't do numbers.
What the fuck ever. I
They
don't
do
know.
They go
letters.
down.
Yeah, because Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox Series X, so on and so forth. The next one will be called Xbox XXX, and that's the one that
Xbox I had was called
360.
Yes.
Yeah.
So red, green, blade, tail. So anyway, I think that if they like I said, we don't expect like a 4K like high, I don't know, whatever.
60 frames per second, super smooth performance. Yeah, we don't
but
ray tracing.
I don't want mountains that disappear while I'm looking at them.
Yeah. Like shit should not be clipped halfway underground.
I think the simplest way to it shouldn't be worse than the last Pokemon game.
Yes.
And this is performing worse than probably the last 2 or 3 Pokemon games, which is not a good look.
Arceus was different. So I don't know.
Arceus is uglier from what I've seen too. Like graphically and like artistically, like it kind of looked muddier. I don't know.
Gracie vehemently disagrees. I just want to relay that.
No, I think Scarlet and Violet, like the landscape and stuff, is beautiful. Like the different biomes and everything, the views you get when the mountains aren't glitching in and out of existence.
I only had one complaint about Arceus, and it was the water. That's it.
The trees were okay.
Yeah.
Because the trees in Galar sucked.
The trees in whatever the fuck Scarlet and Violet suck. They just wobble.
No, I like the ones that have the graffiti on them.
Okay, but like the leaves don't move. It just like the whole tree just goes like this.
Well, also there's litter everywhere, Gracie. What are we nitpicking here? Pokemon Home has received an update.
Did they?
They sure did. Version 2.1 patch is now live on mobile. Switch version is still under maintenance as of me reading this article, which came out yesterday. As of this recording, when you're listening to it, it was last week, baby. The update includes the ability to see ranked battle data and information from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, as well as battle results from Sword and Shield.
Oh, okay.
Here are the patch notes. If you've linked Pokemon Home to a Nintendo account with data from Scarlet or Violet, you'll now be able to view results from your ranked battles in Scarlet and Violet. You can view your battle results from Sword and Shield by choosing View Past Battle Records. Other issues have also been addressed in order to ensure a user-friendly experience. Folks, it's been a slow news week.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm sure it's
one reason anyway, so
probably paving the way for that Scarlet and Violet. Actually, there is a Nintendo Direct this week. As you know, when you're listening to this, dear listener, do we think the Pokemon Home thing is going to be part of that announcement?
I don't know.
It would make sense, right?
Metal boxes, so
I don't really care that much anymore. I guess I care so much. Like I want to move some of my favorites from Sword and Shield over.
Yeah.
I don't have any like shinies or anything, but I love my Zacian, my sword dog.
It's true.
So Pokemon Home connects all like the mainline games, right?
In Pokemon Go. Is
Oh,
there
okay.
another weirdo in there? Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee.
That was like basically mainline game. It was a remake.
Arceus, Brilliant, Diamond, Shining Pearl. And yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I think you can also you still transfer them from bank into home? From the bank on the bank on DS, you could send it to home, if I'm not mistaken.
I never had a DS, so I don't know.
That's how I did it. I don't know if it's still a thing you can do or not, because I think there was like a limited time on that before everything just became trapped on DS forever. Which is a shame because I got a Zoru. I got an electric cat Lucario trapped on a Sword and Shield copy of Sword and Shield Sun and Moon, Ultra Moon. Folks, we got to take a break.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, Gracie. While we're on this totally pre-recorded break, that I'm just gonna pause in here. I want everybody to take a deep breath, relax, breathe out.
Okay. Breathe.
There's no more Shakespeare or literature or high brain shit after this point.
All right, I'm out. See ya.
Bye.
After this point,
I'm only here for the highbrow
filthy,
shit.
Disgusting, horrible comedy that we're known for.
Elitist shit. We're here for it. This is fucking worst. I hate this.
After Darkrai is brought to you by Verizon. Verizon, the only telecommunication company for you. Sign up today and get an extra line for only $15 a month for about 3 months, and after that, it goes up to $100 a month. Thanks, Ryan Reynolds. Gracie, can you hear me now? Gracie? Gracie, can you hear me now? Gracie, can you hear me now?
I'm
gonna go over here for a second. Hey, Gracie, can you hear me now?
Oh, you're cutting out. Yep. Oh, there you are. Hello.
It's like Verizon. Get it?
Okay, thanks. Bye. I hate that music so much. My soul hurt.
And we are back from our totally pre-recorded break. I don't know what it was about, but I'm sure it was hilarious.
I believe it was Plato who once said that.
Damn it.
Plays with Play-Doh.
I can't.
Yeah, I was talking about the molding clay. What are you thinking, Brett?
I don't even know what that word is that you just said.
Molding clay?
Oh, molding clay. I thought he said cold. I thought he said something else.
Cold clay?
Look, we all can't be smart people on the show like you two, and I don't appreciate having it rubbed in my face. By the way, speaking of being rubbed in the face, I'm going to rub some thanks into your faces. Thank you to our patrons, Stephie L, Stephen S, Cisco M, Ken P, and Mom Mine. Thank you all so much. If you would like to check us out on Patreon, do so at patreon.com/poddog. You get early access to every episode. You get bonus content as it becomes available, early looks at the Jaws Breakers movie, which I just posted a new clip of it yesterday on the Patreon feed, and you also get to vote on the Pokemon that we talk about every episode. Oh, also, for speaking of Jaws Breakers, you're going to be able to vote on one of the movies that we're doing for season 4, which comes out here next month. Jaws Breakers is back, baby.
Let's do it.
You ready for the Meg? I know I'm not. Speaking of which, we got to spin the random wheel. That's totally not random anymore because our patrons chose number 877.
The music made me really happy. I enjoyed that 8-bit spin a lot. Yeah, that was good.
Oh, great. I'm glad. Let me just take myself off of the wheel. I like to strap myself to it so that when it spins around, it gets a nice head rush.
Little inertia there.
Yeah, it makes the blood rush to all the different appendages of my body, and then I just like. Have you ever seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes.
I basically have hot dog fingers, but everywhere.
I hate that part though. Oh.
So It was another damn tie. Guys, we got to stop with these ties. It's driving me crazy. So, because it was a tie, we're going to do one of them this week, and we'll do the other one next time.
Okay.
It's Morpeko. Morpeko?
Morpeko, please.
Morpeko is a dual-type electric dark Pokemon introduced in Gen 8, otherwise known as Galar. It is not known to evolve into or from any other forms. It can change forms, however, with its Hunger Switch ability. It basically goes from happy little cute little hamster to angry, hangry little shit.
I've never related so much to a Pokemon in my entire life.
It's so good. And especially as far as like it is it the best Pika clone? It might be.
I don't know. Maybe.
It's got the
It's
most
like
personality.
a Neapolitan Pikachu.
Yeah. I see that. And I love that hangry mode is literally called hangry mode.
Yeah, like let's not sugarcoat it, let's just make it hilarious.
When it enters the battle for the first time, it is in its full belly mode. And Aura Wheel is electric type. At the end of each turn, Morpeko changes form. While in hangry mode, Aura Wheel becomes dark type. Really cool mechanic. That I don't think any other Pokemon does. I think like the only thing I can think of that's as close is like Type Null and Arceus when you give them various items that change their types. But other than that, like this isn't even that really because it's not item based. But I can't think of any other Pokemons that like change type as part of their just like natural state.
Well, and just like the hunger thing is unique too.
Yeah.
So is it advantageous for the trainer to starve them so they get into a better mode?
Look.
Oh my god, no! Oh,
I don't like the implication here.
I don't either.
Thanks, Chris, for ruining it.
I didn't design this thing.
I just want to say real quick, the full mode shiny is really good. The hangry mode shiny, you can't even tell it's different, which is kind of a bummer.
Mine's gonna be in full belly mode all the time now.
How do you think they're going to implement this in Pokemon Go?
Berries? I mean, they already have berries, right?
Yeah.
So you just don't feed them berries?
You're going to have to
starve them of berries?
So, I mean, is it going to be a buddy mechanic, though, to switch forms?
I don't know, but now I don't want to switch forms anymore because I feel bad.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. They have, like, buddy requirements to evolve certain Pokemon, like Sylveon. Maybe instead of being like a condition to make for evolution, it's a condition to make for a form change, which they do have form changes with. I was getting to that with the poodle dog.
Oh, that too. I was thinking like Koopa Unbound.
Yeah,
the poodle dog thing that changes different styles.
So yeah, I guess they could do it. They could just do the form change and just not even be tied to the buddy requirement. It could just be like, pay 10 berries, turn it to full mode.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what you would do, whip it 3 times to turn it into hangry mode or something. I don't know.
It's terrible.
Give it like X-Lax so it
X laxatives. That's what I was thinking too. I was like something to like make it.
You know what's gonna be I hope it's not, but like there's just 2 different forms that you catch in raids, and that would just suck.
That'd be dumb.
As it eats the seeds stored up in its pocket-like pouches, this Pokemon is not just satisfying its constant hunger, it's also generating electricity. It carries electrically roasted seeds with it as if they're precious treasures.
Oh.
No matter how much it eats, it always gets hungry again in short order.
Same.
So that makes me feel a little better because it's not that he gets hangry because he's starving. He just has a really fast metabolism.
Yeah.
That's what
it's a lot of Chinese.
Or like he's diabetic and his sugar crashes.
That's
the first thing. I like the first thing better.
The diabetic mouse Pokemon.
Diabetic Pikachu.
Just gotta get him a Snickers every now and then.
Wow. You're not you when you're
Bret is dying on camera. Do you see this? This guy is
I was hoping you wouldn't point that out.
Tears are streaming down his face. What happened?
Are you okay?
No, like I'm having like a allergy attack or something. Intense hunger drives it to the extremes of violence.
You need to eat something?
Moving on past this.
Moving past it. Hangry Mode's Pokédex entry. Intense hunger drives it to extremes of violence.
Oh, and that checks out.
And the
Same.
electricity in its cheek sacs has converted into a dark type energy.
There's just blood coming out of Brett's nose as he's reading this.
Yeah.
He's not okay.
I'm turning into a Morpeko.
Is
Hunger
your hair
hormones.
falling out?
Yeah. Hunger hormones affect its. No, I'm like the Jigglypuff. Like I got like little tiny furs all over my body.
Okay, sure.
Hunger hormones affect its temperament. Until its hunger is appeased, it gets up to all manner of evil deeds. Not just mischief, evil deeds.
Why did
my.
they make a Pokemon about me?
Violence and evil deeds.
My life.
You think they would say, oh, the hunger drives it to extremes of naughtiness, or it gets up to all manner of
think it's
mischief.
Fucking satanic, and it is all
Violence
about
and
that.
evil deeds. This is our next tattoo, Gracie.
Yeah.
It's Morpeko over a pentagram.
God, that's great.
Oh, is that our next t-shirt for After Darkrai? We have too many t-shirts we have to make for this fucking show.
But also, like,
There's
there
so
needs to be,
much
like,
on the
some sort
plate.
of like food, like takeout. There needs to be like a McDonald's bag on the corner or something. Like, it needs to be like hilarious.
I don't know how to be hilarious, so I don't know if we'll do all that. No other Pokemon has the same type combination as Morpeko. Morpeko is the only Pokemon with a base stat total of 436. Should be 666. Morpeko ties with Alolan Rattata for the shortest dark type Pokemon. How tall are they? Scrolling back up, baby. 1 foot tall.
That's pretty
Number
good.
1 foot tall.
Number one.
Number 1 foot tall. Don't judge me, Chris.
Too late. You know what's crazy about Pokemon? I'm just gonna interrupt you here.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine. As my Lord and Savior, I'm honor bound to do what you tell me.
Here's what's wild about Pokemon. You have all these names that are like puns and references and stuff. So the localization is wild because you look at something like Super Mario, like early on in that franchise, you had King Koopa in Japan, but Bowser here, or Princess Toadstool, Princess Peach, and eventually they're like, let's just normalize all the names, and it's the same around the world. But you can't do that with Pokemon because their names have all these meanings. So like to this day, Pokemons not only have different names in Japan and America, but in every language, in French and German, you got to come up. There's a team there coming up with puns for these Pokemon.
Who would have thought that different languages sound different?
It's weird, right? But you don't have to do that in other franchises, is what I'm saying. But it gets lost. I just gave you the example of how Mario standardized all their names because they're not
I get
puns.
it.
But anyway, I bring that up because I was curious about this Pokemon here, Morpeko. So apparently it's a combination of it's got the same name in English and Japan, so it kind of doesn't really do what I was just talking about. But in Japanese,
I just read it.
Morumato means guinea pig, and Harapeko or Pico Peko mean hungry in Japanese. So it's
starving
guinea pig.
It says hungry or starving, so starving guinea pig.
Oh Jesus, I prefer hungry.
I like some of these names, like of different languages. Can we go through some of these? In French, hangry mode is called mode de flamme.
I like okay.
All right.
German, it's Kohldampfmuster. Kohldampfmuster.
Checks out.
That's good.
Motiva pancreoviota. That sounds like he has pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, it's not great.
Forma voraz. Form of a voraz. That's a Power Rangers reference.
Yeah.
Wait, is it?
I don't know.
No,
What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Wonder Twins.
Wow.
Basically, the same thing.
Yeah, totally. Wonder
It's
Twins.
like Ghost of the
Power
Shell and
Rangers,
Shakespeare.
hand
You
in
know, they're
hand.
just one degree
Activate.
off.
Activate Wonder Twin powers. Form of hot moms in your area.
Yikes.
I have serious concerns about the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
I saw them on RedTube the other day.
Anyway,
He turned into a bucket of water and just splashed all over her.
that's
Let's move
terrifying.
forward.
He took a
in this
bath.
Conversation.
Let's not do this.
I promised the people filth, and then I accidentally clicked an ad for Wendy's. Gracie, thoughts? Morpeko, don't peek at me, peek at you. Pikachu,
I love it.
more peeks.
Great.
I think it's great too, honestly. Chris, do you have thoughts on this cutie little booty?
Morpeko. That's like when I want more toppings for my nachos. Am I right? Am I right?
I
Look
love
at that.
Pico.
Yeah, Morpeko. Morpeko.
Gallo.
Hey, that's all I got. That's why you have me as a guest for genius jokes like that.
That reminds
You're
me.
welcome.
That
That's
reminds
free,
me.
too.
Isn't there some news on Pokemon Sleep?
Is there?
Get it? Because it was a real snoozer of a joke.
I don't get it. Please explain.
Bye. All right, I'm out. Disconnect.
No, Nintendo recently submitted the patent for Pokemon Sleep. This is the game that allows you where I don't know if it's your phone or another device that you need to buy, tracks your sleep and rewards you for good rest and sleeping, the amount that you sleep.
I appreciate them using, because they also have the Pokemon thing for like brushing your teeth.
Smile.
Yes.
Smile. Yeah. So like, it's weird, but I guess they're using this brand for, I don't know, healthy habits. It sounds like, and
so in exchange for doing good sleepingness, I know English. You get to parlay that into helping to raise a digital pet, is what the patent says, basically, aka a Pokemon.
It's a Tamagotchi, but you sleep.
Right, but also like, who are they going to sell my sleeping information to? I don't know.
Like that's what my Fitbit's for. So.
Pokemon Go got me.
My dad is already taken. Thank you.
Fair. If you own like a Samsung or something not an Apple. Well, Apple's got your data. They might not sell it, but they got it.
I've got a Pixel Watch and it's got Fitbit integration, and so I sleep with it on and it monitors me and tells me how good my sleep was. And
I tried to do that with a Fitbit, but I just found like I just can't sleep with something like strapped to my wrist. I just can't do it.
I don't even notice it anymore.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I just have to switch wrists. Like I wear my watch on my left arm all day, and I switch it to my right to sleep in it, because otherwise I'd have a watch on like 24/7 and the skin gets all irritated and stuff. So I got to give my left wrist a break, so I do it at night.
I only wear mine on my right.
Really? It doesn't, your skin's, you wear it like all day? You sleep in it?
I take it off when I shower.
When friend of the show, Chris Logan's wife, is like in the like sleepy and groggy in the morning, she's like, "What time is it, babe?" Do you show her the watch? Go, time for you to get out of bed, and then you.
I don't, because one, I'm definitely already asleep, and two, I put it in sleep mode so it doesn't wake up unless I push the button.
I put it in do not disturb because I don't need
that. Yeah, Pokemon Go. I was one of those guys who's like, the government can't have my information for the longest time, and Pokemon Go got me to turn on my GPS. For that, I never turned it on. I was also late to the smartphone thing. I'm like, what would I ever use that for? Listen to music? What do I need to get on the internet for? This is ridiculous. This was like 2015 or something. I was way late.
I remember having this realization, like using, like Google Maps, and just kind of thinking, like, how does it, there's a slowdown up ahead because there was recently a wreck or something. And it's like, how does it know that? How does it know how long it's going to take? And then it just kind of dawned on me, oh, it's tracking all of our phones and seeing how fast the phone is going down the road. And it's kind of alarming at first, and then you're just kind of used to it. It's just,
you're like, screw it. Someday I'm going to die. Someday I'm going to die, and everyone
this really matters.
To be dead, and it'll be like I was never here.
It's fine.
Yeah, I do. I never click accept all cookies. I always go through and only do the bare minimum. I try to hedge, pull it back. Or I also had this, those mobile game ads where the game looks really fun, but when you download it, it's totally different. It's because they don't care about the game. They just want the app on your phone, because once it's on your phone, they can mine all your data. So you go to download one of those, and the first big window was like, hey, hit agree to this. It's like, no, instant uninstall. Bad bad data.
Oh, sorry.
God, we can't talk about philosophy. We can't talk about the horrors of modern technology. What are we supposed to talk about on this Pokemon show?
So if two Pokemon are fucking in the woods, does anybody hear them?
Well, they hear each other. Like
Yeah.
you gotta have one person for that to make sense. There's two Pokemon. They hear each
Also,
other.
if all the Pokemons lay eggs, does that mean that they're all like not mammals?
They're Pokemon.
Yeah, they're
They're
Pokemon.
But they're not. So
They're
we're
in
saying
their own
that
category
we're
now.
saying that an Oranguru, a Great Ape Pokemon, and a Magikarp, a
mammal
fish
more.
Pokemon, are one for one laying the same egg.
This is a science.
Pokemon don't even grow. They just like evolve
Yeah.
instantly. Like none of this makes sense.
But they
science
breed.
Does not apply. Science does not apply in Pokemon.
They breed and then they lay eggs. So
Yeah,
can
there's
you
also magic.
Imagine your cat laying an egg. It'd be
Good
weird.
for her.
All right, so hang on. What's a Pokemon that does not evolve? Like a single form Pokemon? Give me an example
Morpeko.
here. Morpeko? There's no evolutions?
Nope.
That's true.
Okay, so Pokemon don't grow. They're one size until they evolve. So if a Morpeko lays an egg, is that egg as big as the Morpeko? Because it's got to come out as big as a Morpeko? Because there's no baby
Ooh.
Morpeko. There's no baby form.
There are size differences, though. Like there's some that are a little smaller and some that
There
are a little
are, but not
bigger.
that extreme, right?
Tell that to Papa Pokemon Go. They just implemented that feature, and oh boy, collect all the giant Pidgeys you can find, folks.
So do Pokemon don't grow though? Like if you capture Pokemon, it's going to be that weight and size as long as you own it.
Yeah.
What if it's
But
like
it's a
like
one
a
fixed
Pokeball?
size.
Like a Pokemon egg is like a Pokeball. Like you know how like that big ass Pokemon is gonna go inside a Pokeball.
Hey, it's like an egg. A Pokemon egg is an organic Pokeball.
We shouldn't be confining our Pokemon to balls, Gracie. How could you?
Interesting.
Pokemon sack, whatever you want.
The official answer for the Pokemon people is like, what's going on with this Pokeball? Is it, they captured whatever? Is they're quite comfortable in there.
That is
That's all we got. That's it. That's all we know.
They have a
They're
4-star
comfortable.
resort. They do whatever the fuck they want.
They're annoyed when you pull them out of their
Yeah.
vacation to do battle.
They're like,
Well,
what the fuck
sometimes,
is
well, Pikachu never wants to go in his ball,
true.
and then they're not in like suspended animation because it's very clear that guys like Wobbuffet and Sudowoodo and Psyduck in the anime like just pop out whenever they feel like it. Charizard too. They're just like, fuck this, I'm out.
this?
Interesting.
Yeah,
I would think it's
Pokemon.
like a new universe, like a meta
Ultimately,
universe.
I feel like the consensus we got to is that Pokemon is weird, but it's a thing we still love. And speaking of weird things that we love, Chris, thank you so much for being on the show. Real quick, give me the elevator pitch for Best of the Rest again.
Yeah.
Best of the Rest is a show about.
Hang on. The
or the-
elevator door
God.
hasn't opened yet. Elevator door's got to
God.
open yet. Hang on.
Okay, I'm waiting patiently. I'm waiting.
Ding. Going down, sir.
No, I am pitching my podcast because
Oh,
every week on Best of the
okay.
Rest, we take a second look at a movie that was poorly received upon release and challenge ourselves to only talk
Bing.
about the stuff we like and what we enjoy, what the movie does well. And we change the category every single month. We've got movies based on TV shows coming up. We're about to hit our 100th episode special. That's going to be a very big surprise. Not really revealing that one yet, but it's a great time. The first 59 episodes are all about comic book movies. Then we start mixing it up. Scroll through the episode list. You're going to find some movies that you're interested in, that you want to hear about, that maybe you like, or maybe you didn't like. And you just want to see how in the world did they come up with something positive to say about Catwoman. We do it, folks. So Best of the Rest available wherever you get your podcast. Elevator still moving? I'm still good, right? We haven't. Okay.
It's actually plummeting straight to hell. Personal testimony here. A personal favorite episode of mine was, I forget what year it was, Hellboy, the remake.
2019, the David Harbour one.
David Harbour, thank you. I was listening. I got about halfway through you guys talking about that movie that I just had to stop and I went, I gotta watch this movie for myself. And I bought it all on Amazon, or rented it on Amazon Prime and watched it and was absolutely delighted. I'm like, I love this movie.
There's some good stuff in there. There's some good stuff in there.
Never have given that movie the light of day just based off of reputation alone, but because of the way you guys present all the positive things that are in that movie, made me give it the shot. Like I literally put the show down, watched the whole movie and then listened to the rest of the show and just was delighted all the way through. So
That's great to hear. Thank you. I think your listeners may also be interested in an episode we did on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, where we have a special guest on that episode. Bret himself joined us to talk about all the positives of TMNT Out of the Shadows. It's a great one. One of our more highly listened to episodes. So
no way.
Check it out if you haven't. It's up there. It's up there.
I had no idea. That makes me feel incredibly special, Chris. Thank you so much. And Gracie, do you want to tell the people about you? I mean, we know you. You're the best there ever was. The coolest bees of the knees. The sweetest feats on the internet streets.
No.
Go ahead.
Chop off all the toes.
I painted mine today because I was bored. Yay, quarantine.
I haven't painted my toes in years. No one's allowed to look at my feet. I'm on. Stop it. I'm on Instagram. Ladies of Rain Art. Come look at my art. Be nice to me.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give your. This is for me. Hi. Give your loved ones a hug. And tell them that they're loved, because you never know when your brief time on this earth or theirs is going to be up. And don't leave regrets. Don't leave stuff on the plate, man. Just eat everything on your plate of life, and
like a Morpeko.
Don't regret, like a Morpeko, and don't regret it. Yeah.
Heartfelt.
Thanks. That's not foreboding at all. I'm totally fine. And after you
yeah. We're professionals.
After you're a professional.
Do it again.
After you're a professional.
Oh, Darkrai will be sensational.
Ooh. The one fucking time it starts immediately. Every time, you gotta understand, I've done this show over 150 episodes?
It always delayed.
It's always delayed. I click the fucking sound, it's delayed by at least, feels like an eternity, because Gracie's always like, "You gonna play it, Bret? You gonna play it?" Like, we do the After Darkrai bit, and then you have to wait.
Pause. I'm like,
it's an awkward pause for like 3 or 4 seconds because the stupid thing doesn't play. The one time I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna press it early, and then it'll start on time."
What kind of show are y'all running here?
No. Oh shit, Gracie! I was gonna say we should have sold our show to Best of the Rest. We could be like, how about this? Best of the rest of the best of the rest. Ooh, it's like Talking Dead. It's like we recap Best of the Rest.
Oh my god.
The best of the rest of the best of the rest. What do you think?
Best of the best of the rest.
Best of the rest.
Now I'm confused. Best of the restroom.
Rest of the
where
best.
where we interview public restrooms and decide which ones we think. No?
I hate everything about this.
Rest in a best room. So we rest in various rooms and we debate on which ones are the best.
I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm.
Including restrooms.
Nope.
That's why they're called that, Gracie. You have to rest in them. Chris, did you like this at all, or?
Yeah, it was a good time. So it's just chilling and like I said, I don't have a ton of Pokemon now. I don't have a ton of.
It's fun.
That was fun. I don't have a ton of current Pokemon news to bring, but it's always a good topic to talk about. I've done Ryan's show a couple times.
I'm going to. Before I hit stop recording, I just want to say hi, Lily.
Bye.
We know you listened to the whole thing. You shouldn't have. It's very naughty, but we're not going to tell on you.